What's up, everyone? It's Roger and APF from DisKingdom.com with Infinity and Beyond, episode number 94. And on this week's episode, we're going to be discussing all things Finding Dory and Finding Nemo, and also talking a little bit about the new initiative for the Toy Box. So yeah, this week we had we got some news. We're going to do figure reveal. That's kind of what we've been waiting for, is some new news. So Abe, how's your week been going?
It's been going good, man. It's been awesome. Civil War came out, and there's been finally Nemo reveal. So it's been a good week.
Yeah. Yes, I went and visited some relatives and stuff. So yeah, nice and refreshed. But it was great to see a brand new figure kind of be announced overnight. So images for everyone, so that we can all see what was going on here. Finding Nemo. Was that Gerald was able to spot this on Amazon in Mexico, which shows off this figure, which I think we should just talk roughly a little bit about the figure at the minute. I love the base, and it's nice to see a full-blown HD version of it rather than just one on mac and cheese.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We can really see here the sort of the coral reef base, which I think works very, very well. I think they've done that. It sort of seems to fit very, very good.
Yeah, and then you see him in a sea anemone, and that's kind of awesome because that's what clownfish usually hang out in. And I like the texture of the sea anemone. Like, almost looks like it's a little translucent, but it's not. So it's kind of cool.
I'm gonna be to me, this actual figure, this was just like, this looks great. This looks fantastic. I think this is. I'm going to be honest. Probably looks like it could be one of my favorite figures that I've seen for Disney Infinity for a while. I think this just looks. It just looks like an ornament or something that you could put on the shelf, because this just does seems to have captured it perfectly. Yeah, no, I'm really, really excited about this one. It just looks such a great figure.
Well, yeah, I mean, something that you haven't really seen too often is like some really awesome looking bases for figures. I mean, I think the last base that impressed me was which one was it? It was the Stormtrooper helmet with with the Star Wars Rebels characters. Yeah. So it's like this one has like nice little,
yeah.
So it's really cool.
Yeah, and that's I mean, that's definitely the first thing that kind of stood out to me was how good this figure looked. Then we kind of get into something very, very interesting. And they're doing something completely new. They've thrown that rulebook out again. So we have got the power. The figure is going to become, by the looks of it, this is Mexico, so I'm guessing everywhere is going to have this as well. You're going to have 2 bonus power discs thrown in. Marlin's Seascape and also Marlin's Reef power disc, which are the ones from 1.0. Now, let's say 2 bonus power discs. Now, the word bonus sort of says to me, thrown in for free. So what do you think of this power disc thing?
I like it. Kind of wish there were new discs, not recycled 1.0 discs, but the idea of receiving more with your figure kind of makes it worth more, in my opinion. But obviously, if they start including it with newer discs, this is great, because then you eliminate the need to buy a power disc pack, and we can start packaging discs that have to do with your figure. So I think it's a great idea. And aside from that, recycling 1.0 figures, 1.0 power discs, whatever, I already have them. So it's I'm glad it says bonus, because I don't want to buy a figure and pay extra for discs that I've had for almost 3 years now. So
yeah. See, I've kind of got like, I'm on like 2 or 3 ideas on this idea at this precise minute. First off, that initial packet of having 2 bonus power discs. Great for 2.0 free and 2.0 and 3.0 newbies that haven't got these power discs. Perfect. You guys, great. You guys, it's a great idea. It's a great package. It's a great system. For people that have been in the game since the beginning or have already got these discs, it's a little bit like, I don't need this. This is unnecessary. I've already got a few of these in my drawer to trade that I couldn't get rid of. I couldn't even, like someone said, oh, I can sell them. It's like, you're not even going to get cents for these because there's so many of them around. And I can't help but feel like, is this just adding, is this going to add to just waste? Are they just going to be thrown away from a lot of 1.0 people because they've already got them and they can't get rid of them? So there was that kind of thing with the landfill. Do you see what I mean on that?
Yeah, I can see that. I don't think it's a big deal again because they're bonus. They don't cost anything.
No.
And honestly, you can get cents on them. Just go to GameStop and get a couple pennies for them. So it's not a big deal.
Yeah. But now this is the other thing. The concept of this idea, I like. I don't. We were talking a bit this last week about having figures coming with unlocks and toys, and it was kind of a big thing. And we had a lot of feedback, a lot of people wanting that to return. Now, if this is a way of bringing that back, of having each figure comes with some exclusive or special power discs that have unlocks, like as buildings or vehicles or a costume change or something, I really don't mind this. I don't mind this at all. If they want to, and I would even say, if they chucked $1 on the packet and chucked in a power disc or two, I'd be fine with that. I think that's a good way. If they got rid of the packs of 4 and they just go this way for power discs, it would be a great way of doing it. It kind of goes along the lines of, well, why not just do them as unlocks and produce less products? So they like the idea that it will look more incisive. Maybe with having Skylanders and Lego Dimensions and stuff, they maybe in the Amiibo they want to have some competition to make the figures look a little bit more valuable. So they start including power discs that way, or get rid of. And they got rid of the blind bags. Maybe they're going to get rid of the packs of 4. Maybe that's why we've not seen. We don't know. And I had this sudden thought of, what if those Alice in Wonderland figures have got those repackaged 1.0 Alice discs chucked in them, because we've not seen the packaging for these things yet. We've not even, we're only 3 weeks away from the release and we've still not seen the packaging. So what if they all got the same thing? We don't know what's in them. That's why there's no Alice in Wonderland power discs. I'm just throwing an idea around there. Now, if we had new power discs, I like this idea. I think it's a good way of distributing power discs. It makes it look a more valuable pack. It's going to also maybe help retailers with having less product on the line, on the shelf. Mm-hmm. And I just think from a parents and the kids' point of view, they're getting more for their buck. So I can actually see where this is going, and I don't necessarily disagree with it.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that statement. I think it add a lot of value, and it'll eliminate shelf space. And if they can add new discs, chuck on $1, like you said, it'll make it worth it. It'll definitely make those figures more appealing, and not to mention, it appeals to the collector aspect, because there's people who like to collect the discs, and so it's just nice little bonus to go with your new figure. So I like it. I like it. It's a cool idea.
It does feel like once again, is Disney kind of throwing some different ideas around, seeing what's working, what isn't. It feels kind of weird, sort of in the 4th year. They're not afraid to change things up. They're not afraid to do anything. Now, this could just be a bonus because of, it just seems odd because, they were giving away those power discs with the mac and cheese box. Now, whether or not they just got an overstock of these or they run extra prints, and this is a great way of just promoting it, I don't know. It just feels like maybe with going the one figure route for the playset and adding some power discs to this is just about trying to make figures look a little bit more. And like you say, the power disc stuff I've seen reduced. Maybe the power discs aren't selling well enough and they're not doing great. And I don't know. It's definitely an interesting way of doing it. I don't mind, bonus idea. If it's just bonus discs, is one way of doing it. But I think my gut reaction is if that had been 2 brand new power discs, I would have been like, amazing, fantastic. This is what I wanted. This is great. And I think that's kind of your thought on it.
Yeah, as long as they're not recycled discs, if they continue this concept in the future, I think it's going to be awesome. It's just going to it's going to give you a little bit more excitement for every new figure you get, because it's now not just a figure. Now it comes with 2 digital toys, you can actually use, or costume changes or whatnot. So, no, yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great idea, and hopefully maybe it'll evolve into something better.
The only other thing is, I did think of, again, being a bonus one, if there are no Finding Nemo or Finding Dory power discs, I can't help but feel like, if we're not getting any power discs for this one, and we're not getting any power discs for Alice in Wonderland, is this then starting to send off those warning flags about power discs being under, I would say, even more risk, because it definitely feels like, if we haven't got any power disc for these two upcoming movies, that's a change in direction again. And this power disc, I think not having new content does feel like a little bit like, you guys are going cheap again. You need to kind of, I know they're freebies, but if you're not giving us content, freebies and recycling old stuff doesn't quite work when if there's nothing. They don't add anything to the playset. We'll add content to the game anyway.
I feel the red flag is more so for the game in general. I mean, like, it's less figures in a playset, no power discs, no events, no new starter pack. I mean, it almost makes me feel like, are they hanging on, and are they trying to survive? Are they trying to go the less cost route to see if they can shell out a profit? I don't know. It's kind of I mean, you saw we lost support on iOS, Apple TV. I mean, on PC, it's like a lot of things are changing. So it's like it leaves you a little concerned. Like, what's the what's the life of the lifespan of this game? Are we coming to an end, or what's the deal? I don't think so, not yet at least, but it definitely makes you start to think about it. So
and this is when it starts getting a little bit worrying. I think obviously they've come out with Next and they've said stuff that's coming up. I don't think the Infinity's going on. I think they have just put the brakes on this year. I think they're having a lighter year to expand the game, because I think the annual release system was gonna break the game eventually, because parents were just gonna hit the roof with having it and having short, and there was just no need for it all the time. But it definitely feels like all this stuff that's been going on with these changes. Now, you could look at the power disc stuff and say, well, you've got those 2 extra power discs, and they're giving you something, and that is one way of looking at it. But quite a few times Disney have been a little bit trying to spin something like with the Marvel Battlegrounds stuff, where, oh, here's one figure, but we're going to give you a freebie. Well, only in the US. The rest of you don't. We're not going to bother with you. So here's something, but we're actually taking something away and kind of trying to hide it.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know, it's a lot to think about, because it's like you said, it's definitely a slow year. That's a way to look at it. But is it really, to make a better game for next year, or is it because they need to cut costs? You know what I mean? It's one or the other. It can't be both.
No.
So I don't know. It's interesting. I guess hopefully whenever this new Next comes out, we'll have an idea of what direction we're going. So
yeah, I mean, I'm hoping next. When's Alice in Wonderland out? Is that the 27th?
Yeah.
So that's my last resort for next day. That's gonna be I'm hoping we might hear about something this week for next week. That's my kind of gut feeling, but I could be very, very wrong on that. Literally, I would not surprise me if one morning or one night YouTube feed and Twitter feed blows up because Next is going live. Is just literally just uploaded. It just I'm wondering even if we're going to get that announcement that's coming, or if it will just upload onto the onto the YouTube channel and just be there. You go, there it is.
That's a good question. Yeah.
I don't know. Now the interesting thing is Disney Infinity is the #1 selling Toys to Life brand. So you kind of start thinking, well, if this is the #1 selling, that is, they're the most popular. But I don't know if the whole business has dropped off a little bit, because there were some recently quarterly results that were kind of a bit like saying that Disney Infinity hadn't sold as much as they'd wanted to. So, but I still don't know if the longer life cycle. I think in general, the idea of doing the longer life cycle is still the best idea. If they give us a 3.0 that lasts 2 years and extends it, because I think with 2.0 we only got 3 play sets and four expansion games. Now if we're getting 4 play sets this year, it still feels a little bit short, because I think I always still think of the Marvel Battlegrounds as part of like last year's game. I don't view it as
I agree. I agree. I feel like that was a I wouldn't say a smart move on their part to to claim it as part of this year's playsets. But yeah, I agree. We already knew about that. We already knew it was coming. We already were told that it was going to be 5 playsets for 3.0. And so obviously we're getting 3 more, just like Best Buy told us last year, which is 8. So maybe we were going to get that all along.
That's the Best Buy 8.
Yeah,
the Best Buy 8.
Yeah, in the Best Buy 8, exactly. So yeah, no, definitely. I'm just hoping that Finding Nemo is definitely a longer game, and it's more. It's obviously going to introduce a new type of gameplay, but I really hope it gives you replay value. That's all I hope so. And honestly, 2 figures is not going to be enough, in my opinion, if that's what their goal is, to do just 2.
Yeah. So. The only thing I did think of was if they did do a 2-figure pack for Finding Dory with Finding Dory and Marlin, packaging Nemo on his own makes more sense of how he's going to sell. Nemo's going to sell better if Marlin was in the pack, because if Marlin and Nemo were in the pack together, then I don't know if Marlin would have sold as well. And I don't know whether or not they put those power discs in with Nemo, because if Marlin is included in the pack, then it's a bit more of an incentive to buy essentially the same figure again, but just a little bit younger. That was the other thing I had a thought of, if that was a way of doing it.
Well, I mean, the only way that Marlin and Nemo will work is if you think about them as, Mr. Incredible and Dash. You know what I mean? Like, they're kind of the same, except they're different. I know obviously we're talking about fish as opposed to superheroes, but they can easily make fish attack differently than the same way they can make humans attack differently. So you never know. Again, until we hear about next, we are clueless at this point. Maybe like Amazon India will give us like Hank or something, so we can figure something else out.
I'm definitely thinking. I don't know. I'm thinking 2 figures. I just don't think they're gonna. It feels like everything's just being like just shrunk. It's all just being shrunk down. Just 2 figures. That's all you're getting.
I don't know if that's gonna be. I don't know. it's kind of interesting. Yeah, I doubt it.
Unless they spread out a few more.
I mean, you have the Hall of Heroes that shows we need quite a bit more. So I don't know.
But then I also think if I look at that size of that Hall of Heroes, I don't think it's very big. And if they're trying to spread out Disney characters throughout the year, in all the Alice ones, Finding Dory, throw in Moana, and you throw in kind of random classic or figures that they throw in the Peter Pan and a few others, that quick. It's just odd. And again, I think we just keep battering on about this. It's just this. I'm starting to get worried with this concept of how they were announcing stuff, because, again, as far as it's like the old term of leaks and stuff. Well, it's like it's going up on a retailer with the official image. That's just a retailer putting up the image. I don't necessarily count that as a leak, because that's been sent to them by Disney. That's the information. And when you are running this close to release day, that's just the way it goes now. This is the way that's going to be this year, and I don't see it being any different for any other figure, because it just feels like that's how every single figure is going to be discovered this year.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. It's worrisome. So I don't know. I just I already said it earlier today. I mean, it next seems to be our only source of news, and we don't even know when that is coming. So
yeah. And I really hope that next they do try and jump, because I know they teased Alice and Finding Dory, but I honestly believe that they need to get further ahead, because they took I was thinking this week, it was a year from when we got that initial Game Informer thing where we got given a bucket load of information. Now, whether or not they went, right, okay, we gave you a bucket load of information and you were really excited for like a month or two, but you didn't actually correlate to sales, so therefore we're just going to drop the information just before it to remind you to go out and buy it. Maybe that's how they're looking at it.
I don't know. I'm not going to think for them. All I know is I just want to know. Just give us the.
The other thing as well is this is a prime example of what the problem is with these last minute releases. Now we know Alice in Wonderland stuff is coming, but I don't know when it's coming out officially. It might not. I can't pre-order, and therefore I can't budget properly as well because I don't know what's coming. I don't know if there's any. I put some money aside together for it. To play, and finding, and I'm thinking I'm an adult, and I've got my pocket money, but kids have got less money, parents, birthdays and stuff. I just don't like it when people can't plan. Perfect thing was this week, released a new animation Civil War set with 8 figures. Well, unofficially they released it, but it's been pushed back. But they just dropped it. They just literally just dropped it on the shelf, and it's a bit like, well, if I haven't got $150 to go buy the figures this week because I didn't know it was coming, and therefore that's it. That's big. That's that almost series gone for me now because it's like, well, you didn't tell me. I couldn't plan for it. I haven't got any money for it, so therefore bye. And I feel that's the problem with this last minute information stuff. It does that.
No, it's true. It's definitely something we're not used to. I mean, you said earlier this year, actually at the end of last year, they've thrown the rule book out. Well, sometimes I wish that rule book was back because some of these rules are kind of weird.
Yes.
I like being in the know as opposed to just finding out when I wake up.
Yeah,
like, wait, there's a Finding Nemo figure? Oh, geez. So
yeah. I like Blue, but when something like Blue comes out, the Blue, that's fine, single figure stuff. But if you're doing massive content, you need to kind of get it out there. But like we said, we keep saying this: the rule book is out the window, the rule book is gone, everything is being thrown up in the air. It just feels like every single figure that comes out is like they do something different. They don't. It's like it's exciting, but it can also be a little bit frustrating. And I feel it from the community, from people that are asking us on Twitter and in the Facebook group and in the YouTube comments and on the live chats. There is just an air of, and there's people sort of not sure what's going on, but there's also quite a reaction at the minute. A lot of people just going, yeah, I get me excited about this game because at the minute it's on the back shelf and I'm playing a dozen other games last week, and there was a real feedback, I think, from that. A lot of people are not into the game at the minute at all. Our audience, I mean, when we're doing like chats and stuff, it's definitely feeling like there's a lot of people not playing the game.
no, yeah. The only people were playing. Sorry. I thought you stopped talking for some reason. There's a delay. I just feel like the only people that are playing are really just those toy box builders who want to build and try to get into the summit. To be honest with you, because I haven't really touched it. I keep telling myself to play it a little bit to level up certain of the newer figures, but I haven't. And I think it just has to do with the past few things like the last playset not being online capable and being so short that playing it by myself I'll be done quickly, and I don't know, it needs replay value in the form of either interactive play or a longer story. So
actually I kind of listened to that because I had from Hunter Smith. He said, last night I purchased the Marvel Battlegrounds playset and have been a really great time with it so far. However, for the amount or rather lack of content presented in the story and figure to include, surely it's a multiplayer game. But with my fiance and friend, we're going to play this for so many times before we get online players sorely missing. As a £30 package, it's about the same price as loaded as all the content with the Rise of the Empire playset. So I think to offset that, they should have included a battle damaged Iron Man variant or something. It would have been a really cool way. Or would you have purchased a different figure or something? Or I don't know. It's just like Hunter said that. It's just quite funny you said that because that was pretty much almost word for word for what he emailed me overnight about being at the place on the honeymoon period.
Yeah, it's just it's funny because it's just the truth. That's how the playset is. It just you feel that one. You feel like you almost didn't really get the full game. Like part of me thinks that there's maybe a part 2 somewhere out there, and they're not telling us, or at least that's wishful thinking. But it's just so short. So yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I just looking here in the live chat. Infinity Key, it said, the Ank and a Destiny or a Marlin. They should, Aiden said, Crush and Bruce would be good. They're all kind of. I think everyone's kind of going. There's so many characters. There's not a lot of. They want a bit more on that.
I want Crush for sure.
Dude,
yeah. Yeah, Crush would be awesome. Plus it would add unique swimming as well. It'll be different from the others. I was thinking Mr. Ray before, but I think he would be more of a mission giver. But Bruce, I doubt we'd get him at all.
No, fish food. The only thing I did wonder is because maybe the fish characters are maybe less playable in the toy box because of what they are. Maybe that's why they're giving away the power discs and they're doing a lot less characters because they can't do a lot with them. I had the rocket side loaded onto Nemo, or it's that kind of thing of, are we going to be able to load them up like the cars? So we're going to put different things on like that, because I think that would be a great idea. It's the thing is, I think sometimes people forget they're supposed to be toys. They're not. It's not real to life. They don't have to. You can have load machine guns onto the side of Nemo and have him. Do you know what I mean? I've lost sometimes.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I feel like sometimes they have a disconnect as far as knowing what the game is. Like the toy box is exactly that, a toy box. Everything in there, including the figures you're playing, are toys. That's why you can have a Jedi and a pirate and a monster together in the same toy box. That should be the same with fish. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really need water. They're just toys. So, I mean, a lot of people lose that. I think you can easily strap a gun onto a fish's fin. It's easy to do that. You don't. I mean, if it was like a kick, okay, I'd be concerned. But then they can use their tail somehow by flopping it to the side or whatever. Do the baloo attack where they attack with the butt or something. But the point is, it's just, it's as limiting as you make it. You know what I mean? Because like if you look at Cars 2, I mean, they were shooting guns in that movie. They had guns. Yeah. Why couldn't they hold guns in the toy box? You know what I mean? It's different. And I get it. Certain ones play differently. But
the thing is, for me, I mean, I just feel like I want to have some different kind of characters. I want to see the planes vehicle. I want to see some planes in there. I want to see some car. Bring some fish and bring in Elliot. What if Arlo had been a character? There's just so many things they can do, and I don't like the 7 with characters that can hold stuff. That's half of Disney's characters gone out the window. I want a plane, and then let's bring in Dusty. And he can fly around and stuff, and just okay, so he can hover or something like that. Just do something fun with it. Stop, so we don't have to be so humanoid all the time.
Well, yeah, and it's the same thing with the playsets. You know what I mean? Like they're limiting the playsets to their own franchise. All right, that's fine. Then just create a playset where everybody can play. Don't call it an expansion game because it's so short and it doesn't last long. Create a playset where everybody can play and make it long. Make it like 8 to 10 hours long, not like 2 to 3 hours. I mean, just add content to add replay value. People like the crossover. That's one of the reasons why people like Lego Dimensions, because the crossover is so great. And yeah, so it's just really deciding the identity of what this game is. I feel like they keep losing that. That's why they don't want to do quadrupeds, because we have mounts and all that stuff. And I'm like, well, wait a second. Some of them are actual characters.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just whatever. At this point, I just want info. Just just tell us what's going on. That's all.
Right. Okay. So leading on to another story, we had a little bit of information come through from Alison, basically sharing some information on a new summer series of toy box challenges for beginners. So basically, this is what Alison said. This summer, we'll be inviting the whole family to build in the toy box together. Each month, we'll be unveiling new Toy Box 3.0 build toy box building challenges for beginners, kids, and families. The challenges will give bite-sized objectives that encourage creativity. Winners will be featured in the El Capitan Theatre and on Toybox TV to give players a starting point. Disney Infinity team have built template Toybox challenges for toy boxes for the challenges, and you can use them off. The first one is going to be the Space Station Challenge. So basically, in the last battle with the Emperor Zurg's Star Command's base was destroyed. It's up to you to help them make this one to protect the galaxy, and you can download that one as your like template to start it off. And then once you finished building, you resave it with a new title and description and include the hashtag Space Challenge, then submit your toy box to Disney. Right now, so I'm gonna just say first off, my initial thoughts of reading this is great for new people. This is a great way to try and encourage new people to do it, because I don't know if maybe the toy box is slightly becoming a little bit where sort of new people playing aren't doing this. Maybe they need a little bit of training, they need some smaller challenges, and maybe they're just becoming disconnected with building toy boxes. Maybe they're not getting featured. Maybe there's kids out there putting hours and hours and hours and hours and hours into this stuff, and maybe not be up to scratch, but they're getting disheartened and not playing the game. That could be very much the thing. And so maybe having this like two-tiered toy box system is, there's some sort of kiddie friendly versions and like the full toy box challenges. I can't help but think this is great for beginners, but then I also wonder, is this like just tried to be like a cheap ploy to try and get people to play the toy box this summer on the cheap?
I feel like actually it's to encourage those who play the game, spend time, and don't get featured. It's to encourage them to build, because there's been a lot of new people who get discouraged from building because they never get featured, and that's because there's a little circle of toy box artists who always get featured, and there's constant complaints on all over like different forums, on the Disney Infinity forum, on the Weverse forum, Disney Infinity fans. I mean, like everywhere at Reddit, people are complaining because it's always the same circle of people getting featured. I mean, I get it. They're talented. They make great toy boxes. They get featured. And it's awesome. But then it kind of just makes people like, well, why even bother trying if they're not even going to feature me? You know what I mean? So this gives the ability to the newbies, to people who don't know how to build, or people who haven't been featured, to give them a chance to actually shine for a little bit. And I like this. It's an equal playing field. It's telling the vets, take a seat back, let these people do their thing, and maybe we'll get some new awesome toy box artists out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I like they're going to have like tier 1 and tier 2 toy box winners. You've got tier 1, which are basic stuff just to encourage and maybe try and feature as many different people as possible, just to give everyone that little boost. Because I know like Nick from Disney, the Destination of Animation podcast, he finally got he got a toy box featured the other week, and he has been ecstatic about it. And I know that feeling of when I had one done, and it's a boost to get it in. But then it's like, being featured is supposed to be basically you are at the it's one of the best toy boxes of that week, and therefore the best should be rewarded. But what's happened is you've created this issue where youngsters and people that maybe aren't quite talented are getting completely disheartened because they are not. And obviously is that kind of thing of you're giving runner-up prizes. This is needed to get some younger people into the toy box building. Now, that is an issue, and this whole thing of the toy box, the artists and stuff that are getting through, because there is and I think there always has been that thing of if you were in that sort of that summit zone, you do get an extra leg up. And because you are putting in the time, you've got that effort, you've put in all that time and effort into the game, and you do get that. You can see that they put in so much time and effort into it, but I do feel it's caused an issue with, like you say, and this is why this other tiered toy box system could work very, very well by bringing stuff to a different audience, to try and get other people featured that are that would probably have zero chance of getting into the top 5 on a normal basis because their skills are not at that level of the toy box artists that do get featured.
Yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, yeah, absolutely. It's definitely an avenue to allow others to try and to actually have that moment of shining. Because I mean, I could totally relate. I remember spending hours on end on a toy box, and yeah, it just no feature. Yeah, I thought it was better than a few of them that got nominated. I could be biased, but still. But still, I thought it was awesome. Anyway, so yeah, that's the point.
But I almost feel like, I'm not being funny, but I almost feel like that is one of the big things, because you get that, there's people now want that kind of gratification, that kind of thing of like, I've done this and I want some recognition for it. And Disney can't feature every single toy box that's created every week, because it just gets everything. I think since everything's been able to be played online, it does make the gratification of seeing people downloading it and playing it, even if you're not featured. Because I've had some toy boxes in the past that were very well played, but never got featured. I think I did like a reindeer challenge, and it got downloaded thousands of times and played, even though it never got featured. So therefore, that was kind of thing. But I do think this is a great way. It is also a good way of being able to publicize something on the cheap and kind of push it. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think this game needs some life pushed into it with some different challenges and some different content and stuff. I do wonder if they're going to have to maybe push it maybe a little bit stronger to get that communication out, because I know that they're all kind of gone a bit quiet, but I think they really should try, and hopefully in the next coming weeks we'll find out a little bit more about this initiative and just see some more content and some new people featured. Maybe even a change around on the menus, kind of, this is the developer's pick and this is the beginner's pick or something like that.
Well, I mean, it's definitely, good effort to get people to start playing it again, because to be honest with you, it's just, I mean, after Battlegrounds, people have been dropping like flies from the game. I mean, you have to understand, we're not getting a starter pack. Last year, we had the new toy box to explore. We had the hub to explore, farming, arcade games and expansion games and play sets. This year, we just have one play set that we thought we already knew it was coming. Obviously, we kind of still don't even count it as new content and new figures, but that's it. And there's really not that much to do because we're not getting that stuff. So that is a great way to try to bring in new people to build and to focus on the toy box, because unfortunately that's all we have at this moment. So
I must admit, I was playing around in Battlegrounds a bit for about half an hour or so last night, trying to complete a few challenges and things. It's just, I also feel like Disney have ramped up their video game output by going to different companies, and there is a lot of I mean, there's some massive games out there anyway. You get like Uncharted this week, but I also do feel like Disney they're pushing out so much content on different platforms that it's spreading the audience. I mean, this last week, we had just came out with the new Black Panther level pack, which is great. I loved it. Like half an hour gameplay. Some new characters, season pass. Really, really cheap. So that brought me back into the game, and that's what we were saying last week. I'm kind of being transferred into that idea, just small little bits. But that was a great thing to play this week. Heck, I even with all the Star Wars sales, picked up quite a few games that way. But I don't know. I really wish that we kind of had a little bit more information coming out about bits and pieces. Maybe they're just should we blame Shanghai? Because everything else is being blamed on Shanghai at the minute in the Disney community. And any kind of cutbacks or issues, everyone just is blaming Shanghai Disney at the minute, where basically whoever's at the top of Disney's just gone, right, no money's being spent because everything's going to Shanghai, and that's honestly everything is being blamed on it.
Yeah, no, I
it's
swear.
Even a hashtag.
Like last time I went to Disneyland, I wanted to get a churro and I did it, and I was like, screw you, Shanghai, because I didn't get my churro.
But anyway, guys, we'd love to know your thoughts on all of today's news on the Finding Nemo character and also the new Toy Box initiative. So yeah, it was great to actually have some news this week, so that was always good. So be sure to check out Ethan over at sortedapps.com and Magic Band Collectors as well. for supporting us on Patreon. A big thank you to all of our patrons. It does really help support sort of fund the channel and kind of give us different ways of doing things with technology and stuff. And also you can find us on iTunes and other different RSS feeds for our podcast as well. So if you listen to the audio version, you can subscribe there and give us a review. You can find us on YouTube as well. Give us a thumbs up and stuff as well there. And we shall see you guys in later episodes. So, Ape, thank you very much. Anything else you want to add before we go? Sayonara.
Nope. Adios. Go see Civil War. That's awesome.
Go see Civil War. That is definitely a thing. Because we're going to be doing a full-on spoiler episode of the DisKingdom podcast later this week. So you'll want to check that one out. Anyway, guys, we shall see you guys in a later video. Laters.